Great day to one and all. Welcome to the September 2023 Licensure Examination for Teachers or LET Review for Math Majors. I am Mr. Kim J.C. Ensho, and I will be your discussant for tonight. And I will be discussing the solutions and answers to final coaching, particularly on items 81 until 120. So just like before, I will be discussing 40 items for tonight. And for you to pass, you should get at least one half of the items. That is, if you get 20 and above, that means you passed. But if you got below 20, it's still okay as long as what is more important is that we are trying our best to learn and learn from our errors. So I hope your pens and papers are ready and your answer sheets as well. And for the directions, you have to shade the box that corresponds to your answer. If the correct answer is not found among the choices, you have to shade letter E. I believe it's clear. Let us begin the discussion with item number 81. Okay. Find the distance between the line 3x minus y minus 1 equals 0 and the point 2, -4. Did you go for letter A? 9 square root of 10 over 10, square root of 10, square root of 5, or 10 square root of 5 all over 3? Okay, so we have 5 people who commented letter A. Let's see if you got it right. We have to be reminded that if you are given a line and a point not lying on that line, then the distance between them denoted by D is equal to the absolute value of the quantity ax plus by plus c. So this is, if your equation is in the general form, then it's just the one side of that all over the square root of a squared plus b squared, where a here is 3, b here is -1, and your c here is -1 as well. This 2 is your x, and -4 is the value of your y. So, by substitution po, no, magiging 3 times 2 minus 1 times -4 minus 1 all over the square root of 3 squared plus -1 squared, because a is 3 and b is -1. If you simplify this po, yung sa itaas po natin, -1 times -4 will be 4. So this is 6 plus 4, 10. 10 minus 1 will be 9. And your denominator simplifies to square root of 10. And of course, the absolute value of this is 9 over square root of 10. So rationalizing this, we will multiply both numerator and denominator by square root of 10, giving us 9 square root of 10 all over 10. Letter A po, yung tamang sagot. So sa lahat ng sumagot ng A, good. But if not, it's okay. No? Yung mahalaga, we are discussing and we are learning. 82. The endpoints of the diameter of a circle have coordinates -5, 1, and 5, 7. How long is the radius? Is it square root of 34, square root of 35, 6, or square root of 37? Okay, it's good to note, no, na marami po sa atin ang sumagot ng letter A. Take note po ha, diameter po ito. And we know that the length of your radius is 1/2 the length of your diameter. So with that, kailangan po muna nating hanapin gaano nga ba kahaba yung ating diameter. So we were given here 2 points, -5, 1, and 5, 7. And to get the distance between 2 points, x sub 1, y sub 1, and x sub 2, y sub 2, we use the distance formula between 2 points, which is d, which is equal to the square root of the quantity x sub 2 minus x sub 1 quantity squared, plus the quantity y sub 2 minus y sub 1 squared. So from here, -5 is x sub 1, 1 is y sub 1. Yung 5 po ay x sub 2, at saka yung 7 naman, 5 is x sub 2, 7 here is y sub 2. Grabe si Sir Chad, grabe siya. And with that, by substitution, no, that's b equals the square root of the quantity 5 minus -5 quantity squared plus 7 minus 1 quantity squared. So 5 minus -5 means plus 5 plus 5 or 10 squared plus this is 6 squared. 10 squared is 100 and 6 squared is 36. So that's square root of 136 now. So we know that 136 is not a perfect square, but it has the largest perfect square factor of 4. That's why I expressed 136 as the product of 4 and 34. And the square root of 4 is 2. And the square root of 34 will still stay inside, no? Nung ating radical sign. It's still your radical. But this is your diameter, di po ba? And we know that since the diameter is 2 square root of 34, then its radius is equal to your diameter divided by 2. Kasi alam natin that the radius is half the length of your diameter. So the 2 divided by 2 becomes 1, and you are left with square root of 34 units. Letter A. Thank you po. Sir Chad, mukhang iba yata yung mukhang iba yata yan. Pero but I like what you're thinking. Kidding aside po. 83. The two main streets of a city are perpendicular. These can be drawn in a Cartesian plane. The line representing street A passes through the points 0, -60, and 70, 10. The line representing street B passes through the point 90, -30. Which of the following equations defines the line representing street B? Take a look. Did you go for A, B, C, or D? Okay, so D yung sagot ng mga nag-comment sa atin so far. Take note, we know that if we have two lines that are neither horizontal nor vertical, then two lines are perpendicular if the product of their slopes ay -1, di ba? Or kapag yung slope ng isa ay negative reciprocal ng isa pa. So what I did here is that I first determined the slope of the line passing through 0, -60, and 70, 10. So using the slope formula, m equals y sub 2 minus y sub 1 all over x sub 2 minus x sub 1, we could see that you have m equals 10 minus -60 all over 70 minus 0. So this becomes 70 over 70, or your slope is equal to 1. Now, with that, di ba perpendicular siya? So ano po yung slope ng line na perpendicular sa line na may slope na 1? Okay, I do agree with Sir Chad, no? Which is -1. Kasi nga dapat yung product ng slopes nila ay -1. So the slope of the line perpendicular to it should be -1. That's why po, since meron na po tayong point at saka isang slope na -1, we can utilize now the point slope form of the line. Point slope form of the line, which is y minus y sub 1 equals m times the quantity x minus x sub 1. By substitution po, magiging y minus negative 30 equals negative 1 times the quantity x minus 90. Okay? Minus minus 30 becomes plus 30. And distributing the negative 1 gives us negative 1 times x as negative x. Negative 1 times negative 90, which is positive 90. And I subtracted 30 both sides, and that gives us, so y equals negative x plus 60. Letter D. Okay. So sa lahat ng D, good. 84. How long is the radius of the x squared plus y squared plus 4x minus 2y equals 11? Did you go for 4, 11, 14, or 16? So kung inyo pong mapapansin, no, this is actually the equation of your circle, right? So karamihan or sa lahat ng sumagot, letter A po yung sagot natin. Okay, let's see. Take note, this is what you call the general, it's not the standard form of your circle. So yung ginawa ko po is ganito. So kinopya ko lang muna siya, and after ko siya kinopya mo, I rearrange the terms po muna. So I place together terms containing the variable x. So I have x squared plus 4x. Kailangan i-group yung lahat ng x, ng merong x, at i-group or let's place also together lahat ng may y. Kasi lahat ng may x ay magtatanong, why? Bakit? Kidding aside, equals 11. Then, I do agree with Sir Chad, no? We will now be doing what we call completing the square. And take note, since the numerical coefficients of x squared and y squared are both equal to 1, so to complete the square, di ba? Kung ano yung coefficient ni x dito, divide mo by 2, then square. So 4 divided by 2, that's 2. 2 squared plus 4 here. But remember, to maintain equality, we applied what we call the addition property of equality. That is, whatever number added on the right-hand side should also be added on the left-hand side to maintain equality. So nag-plus 4 po ako sa left. That's why nag-plus 4 din po ako sa right. And another thing, di ba? Dito naman sa ikalawa, negative 2 divided by 2 will be negative 1. You square negative 1 will give you 1. That's why I plus 1 here. I also added 1 on the right-hand side. I hope na clear po sa atin so far, no? Because from here, what I did next is, this is now a perfect square trinomial, yung x squared plus 4x plus 4, which could be expressed as x plus 2 quantity squared plus this trinomial is equal to y minus 1 quantity squared, and 11 plus 4 plus 1 on the right-hand side is 16. And I do agree, no, with what Sir Chad commented, x minus h quantity squared plus y minus k quantity squared equals r squared. Ito po yung tinatawag nating standard form or center radius form ng circle natin. And because of that, this 16 is actually the r squared po natin. Tandaan na, r squared po ito. So if r squared equals 16 and taking the positive square root of both sides, because wala naman pong negative na radius, so it follows that the radius of this circle is 4 units. Letter A. Sa lahat ng A, good job. Sir Chad, masyado pang maaga, okay? 85. I hope na clear po sa atin. 85. What is the circumference in units? Sorry for this. Let me correct this one. Okay, of the circle x squared plus y squared plus 4x minus 2y equals 11. Did you go for 4 pi, 8 pi, 16 pi, or 32 pi? Okay? It seems na nagkakaisa po tayo sa letter B. Tama nga ba ang B? 8 pi nga kaya? Kung inyo pong mapapansin sa number na 'to, same po yung given na, equation 'no? And, based on or previously, this equation of your circle is actually x plus 2 quantity squared plus y minus 1 quantity squared equals 16, 'di po ba? And we found out that its center is actually negative 2 comma 1 and the radius is 4. And with that, dahil alam po natin yung circumference ay 2 pi r, then therefore, knowing that your radius is 4, then that's 2 times 5 times 4 or 8 pi units. Letter B. Okay, tama nga po ang B. Sir Chad, okay, my point. Pero in this case kasi, no, it's as teachers, it's also good that if ever we see mistakes, no, in the presentation, we should also correct it po. So, okay, but thank you. Yes. 86. What is the range of y is equal to x squared minus 1? Okay. B daw. By trivial inequality. Aba, aba, aba. May pa-trivial siyang nalalaman. Gusto ko yan. Okay, letter B. So far from Sir Chad, Sir Crispin, and Ma'am Nurse. Okay. So in this case kasi, we know that this is a degree 2 function. No? Kasi the exponent of your variable, this is a polynomial equation with degree 2, of degree 2. And x squared is always positive for all real x. My point, except for 0. X squared is not positive if x is 0. But in your case, x squared is positive if x is non-zero. No? So actually, there are many ways of doing this. And one way is by means of graphing. And this is actually the graph of y is equal to x squared minus 1. So kung inyo pong mapapansin, its vertex is at the point 0, negative 1. And since it's opening upward, no, dahil yung leading coefficient natin ay positive, it follows that this parabola has a minimum point. The vertex is a minimum point. And ano po yung smallest value ng y? Yung smallest value ng y or f of x ay negative 1, di po ba? So negative 1, and lahat na lang ng values dito na y, regardless of any x value you choose, it will give you a y that is actually either greater than or equal to negative 1. That's why the correct answer is letter B, y is greater than or equal to negative 1. Okay, thank you. I hope na nakuha po natin. 87. Find the equation of a line through 1, 2, parallel to the line 3x minus 2y equals 4. Which of A, B, C, or D did you answer? Yung sagot ninyo. Grabe kayo. So far, your answers have been consistent. Usually, no, kung ano yung sagot ng isa, yan din yung sagot ng iba. Tama nga kaya ang D. Remember that parallel lines have equal slopes. No? Marami pong paraan kung paano ito gawin. Yung what I did is this. Diba? Parallel siya dito. So yung technique dito is kopyahin nyo lang po kung ano yung nasa left side. And because it will only and equate it to C, because these two lines most likely will vary only with a constant. No? That's why kinopya ko lang po ito, 3x minus 2y equals C. And since this line will be passing through the point 1, 2, so I substituted, this is x. 1 is x and 2 is y. That's why by substitution po, that's 3 times 1 minus 2 times 2 is equal to C. And you found out that the value of C is negative 1. Dahil meron ng value ang C na negative 1, bumalik ka po dito, balik ka po dito sa equation na to, and C will be replaced with negative 1. That's why we have 3x minus 2y equals negative 1, letter D. Great job! Galing! 88. O, trigo na po tayo. Tingnan niyo po yung triangle na to. What is tangent to A? Is it 5, 6, 119 over 120, 120 over 119, or 13 over 12? Okay, letter C daw, 120 over 119. Okay. May nakita ko yata ako ng arctangent, something. Be careful, double angle po ito. Double angle identities. No? A. Hati yata tayo. May sumagot ng C, may sumagot ng A. How about the others po? Okay, tangent of 2 arctangent of 5/12. All right? There are many ways. I know here that since your angle is A, no? So tangent is defined as opposite over hypotenuse. So opposite is 5, hypotenuse is 12. So tangent A equals 5/12. And we have one formula no, sa ating trigonometry that tangent to A is equal to 2 tangent A all over 1 minus tangent squared A. That's why, knowing that tangent A is 5 over 12, by substitution po, ang tangent A ay papalitan natin ng 5/12. So we have tangent to A equals 2 times 5/12 all over 1 minus, when we say tangent squared A, it means that you will square the value of tangent A. That's why 5/12 quantity squared. And your calculators can do the trick. Tangent to A is actually 120 over 119, letter C. So yeah, so far we have at least one people who got it right. Okay, so careful po ha. Tangent to A does not mean twice of tangent A. Be careful po because we have identities. Letter C. Okay. 89. In what quadrant will theta terminate if tangent theta is positive and secant theta is negative? Is it quadrant 4, 3, 2, or 1? All right. So far, nakakaisa po tayo sa letter B. You're telling me that quadrant 3 is the correct answer. Let's see. Take note po that tangent is actually positive where both x and y are positive. So in other words, tangent theta is positive kung nandyan po siya sa quadrant 1 or quadrant 3 yung ating terminal side. But remember, secant theta is negative where cosine or x-coordinate is negative. At alam po natin na negative ang x-coordinate kapag nandyan siya sa quadrant 2 at saka quadrant 3, di po ba? And if you could see, within these two, quadrant 3 is common to both of them, or it is their intersection. Hence, we could see that their common quadrant is quadrant 3, so tama nga naman po si letter B. Tangent theta is positive and secant theta is negative if the angle, the terminal side is found at the third quadrant. Magaling po, letter B. 90. In a right triangle, if cosine theta equals 12/13, what is the other acute angle in degrees of this triangle? All right. We have three people so far. Letter A daw, sabi ni Sir Chad, ni Sir Crispin, ni Sir Richard. Tama nga kaya ang sagot nila? O baka tinamaan sila ng magaling? Tingnan po natin. Remember, if cosine theta is equal to 12/13, di ba? To get the value of theta, we will take the cosine inverse of both sides or the arc cosine of both sides, which means that theta is equal to the cosine inverse of 12/13. At kung gagamitin po natin yung ating calculator dito, you will get theta which is approximately 22.62 degrees. Pero take note po ha, right triangle po ito. And in a right triangle, there are two acute interior angles. And they have to be complementary. Meaning dapat yung sum ng dalawang acute angles na to ay 90 degrees. And with that, subtracting this angle or value from 90 degrees gives us 67.38 degrees. Tama nga naman po. Letter A. All right. So far, so good. More to go. 91. Suppose C is a right angle of triangle ABC in the Euclidean plane. What is cotangent A times cotangent B? Did you go for 1, 0, -1, or cotangent AB? All right. Nagkakaisa kayo sa letter A. We'll see. Tandaan po natin when we say cotangent A, cotangent is, if you have cotangent theta, it's actually the relationship, or I mean the ratio rather, of adjacent and opposite. Actually, tangent and cotangent are reciprocals of each other, no? So kung dito po, halimbawa nandito, cotangent theta is this. If you have cotangent A, like sa triangle na to, of course, small letter A is a side opposite of capital A. Ganyan po tayo mag-name ng convention. So side B is opposite of angle B. Side C is the opposite of angle C. And cotangent A, it's opposite, adjacent over opposite, so B over A. If you have cotangent B naman, nandito siya. Adjacent niya is A, yung opposite niya ay B. That's why A over B. And if you will get the product of both sides, you will have cotangent A times cotangent B equals B over A times A over B. And you could see, no, these two are actually reciprocals of one another. And I believe that A and B are both positive. And this is telling us that their product is actually what? Letter A. Okay, reciprocal ng tangent. Yes, tama po. I hope na nakuha po natin. 92. If tangent theta minus cotangent theta is equal to 0, what will be the value of sine theta plus cosine theta? Did you go for A, B, C, or D? Sabi ni Sir Chad, ni Ma'am Vasquez, letter A daw, square root of 2. What about the others? Nagtitiwala po ba kayo sa letter A na square root of 2? O baka pinaasa lang kayo sa wala? Okay, letter A din daw. Sige po, tignan po natin kung tama. Sir Chad, tawa ka lang dyan, okay? Take note that if tangent minus cotangent theta is equal to 0, manipulating the equation by adding both sides by cotangent theta gives tangent theta equals cotangent theta. But take note po, this is possible if your theta, as suggested by Sir Chad also, is 45 degrees. Kaya po, it follows that theta here should be 45. No? That's why if you have sine theta plus cosine theta, so we have with theta equals 45 degrees, so that's sine 45 degrees plus cosine 45 degrees. With the help of our calculators, we know that sine 45 degrees is square root of 2 over 2, and cosine 45 degrees is also square root of 2 all over 2. With that, their sum is actually square root of 2. It should be 2 square root of 2 all over 2. But the 2's will cancel, giving us square root of 2 only. Letter A. Okay, salamat po. Yes, Sir Chad, parang ikaw lang. Char lang. 93. If cosine theta equals 3/5, what is or are the possible values of sine theta all over 2? Is or are, it acknowledges that it could have one answer or probably two answers, two or more probably. Did you go for A, B, C, or D? Okay, we have letter A. Let's see. Now, here's the thing, no? Meron po tayong half-angle formulas. So you could search it up, no? We will no longer derive this because it's a bit long. If you have the sine of the quantity theta over 2, it's equal to plus minus the square root of the quantity, 1 minus cosine theta all over 2. You could verify this, no? By literature. And knowing that cosine theta is 3/5, so I just replaced this cosine theta by 3/5. So sine theta all over 2 equals plus minus the square root of the quantity, 1 minus 3/5 all over 2. So paano to? If you have 1 minus 3/5, that simplifies to 2/5. But 2/5 divided by 2 simplifies to 1/5. That's why this expression has a value of plus minus the square root of 1/5. However, we know that by multiplying both numerator by and denominator by square root of 5, we get sine theta all over 2 as plus minus square root of 5 all over 5. Letter A. So we'll go with letter A. Okay, take note, we did not specify what quadrant. So the answers could either be found, no, on top or at the bottom part. So we have to acknowledge the two signs. So we'll go with letter A po. I hope that we understood that we have to accept an answer. No? It has two signs. The first sign is hindi na kayo, wala na kayo. Yung ikalawang sign, naghanap na siya ng iba. Biro lang po. Okay. Careful po. Okay, thank you. 94. I hope na clear po sa atin. Yes po. 94. If secant theta is 3/2, which of the following could be the value of cosine 2 theta? 19, 49, negative 19, 4 over 21. Okay, marami ang convinced sa negative 19. Let's see if you're right. From this point, no, if secant theta is 3/2, then we know that secant and cosine are reciprocals of each other. So it follows that cosine theta is 2/3. And with that, we have this double angle identity, no? Cosine 2 theta, which is 2 cosine squared theta minus 1. I'm not sure kung parehas po tayong ginamit na formula, but this is actually one of them. There is another identity here, no? So we have 1 minus 2 cosine squared sine squared theta. But I think I'll just use this one. So I'll replace the cosine theta with 2/3. Simplifying gives you 2 times the square of 2/3 minus 1. And using your calculators, it becomes 8/9 minus 1 or simply negative 1/9, letter C. Okay, marami po yata nakakuha nito. Sana all. 95. If cosine 2 theta equals 2/3, what is sine squared theta? Did you go for 1/3, 1/4, 1/5, or 1/6? O baka did you go for E? Because if the correct answer is not found among the choices, you have to write E, right? Now, marami pong convince sa D. I mean, tatlo pala, sorry. Ano kayang gagawin natin dito? Paano mo hahanapin yung sine squared theta? Take note po, from the double angle formula for cosine 2 theta, you could actually derive the value of sine squared theta as 1 minus cosine 2 theta all over 2. Kasi nga, di ba, sabi natin kanina, meron pang isang formula for cosine 2 theta. That is, cosine 2 theta is equal to 1 minus 2 sine squared theta. And I derived sine squared theta in terms of cosine 2 theta, and we have this po. By substitution, cosine 2 theta is negative, is 2/3. So the sine squared theta equals 1 minus 2/3 all over 2. That's the numerator simplifies to 1/3 all over 2, which is 1/6. Letter D. Good job. Dumako na po tayo sa number 96. Consider the figure as shown. Which of the following formulas is best to use to solve for side C? Tingnan niyo po yung given, ha? Will it be law of cosines, law of sines, Pythagorean theorem, or Heron's formula? Okay, mukha yatang screen up nyo na yung Pythagorean theorem at Heron's formula. I agree with that. No? Take note, you can use the Pythagorean theorem if you have a right triangle here. In this case, hindi siya. We cannot use Heron's formula because usually for Heron's, you are given the length of the three sides. And you are finding, and you are also given the area of your triangle. So we have to choose either law of sines or law of cosines. Tandaan po natin ha, meron lang pong dalawang time. There are only 2 times that you should use law of cosines. That is, if you have what we call SAS or SAS, side angle side, that is, according to Sir Chad, no, 2 sides and unincluded angle, that's SAS. Or SSS. Yan po yung hinuhulugan natin per math chart. SSS means side, side, sides. And since the given that we had, meron po tayong side, angle, side. So it's better to use law of cosines. Letter A. You have 2 sides and an included angle. Tama po. I hope na nakuha po natin. 97. What is the area in square units of a circular sector whose central angle measures 60 degrees and the radius is 9? Tingnan niyo po, A, B, C, or D? Okay. Letter E daw. Letter E nga ba? E nga kaya yung tamang sagot. Let's see. So from here, we know that the formula for the area of a sector is equal to theta over 360 degrees. Well, your theta is the central angle in degrees times pi r squared, where r is your radius. Since by substitution, you have A equals 60 over degrees over 360 degrees times the quantity pi times 9 squared. From here po, the 60 over 360 is 1/6. The 9 squared is 81 times pi. That's 81 pi. And 81 and 6 have a GCF of 3, di po ba? 81 divided by 3 is 27, and 6 divided by 3 is 2. Hence, it should be 27 pi over 2 square units. And since it's not found among the choices, letter E. All right. 98. I hope na nakuha. Okay? An ant is 100 meters away from the base of the building. If the angle of elevation to the ant to the building on the three is TREE, sorry, is 18 degrees. How tall is the building? Neglect the height of the ant. Which of A, B, C, or D do you think is correct? Okay, letter C daw, sabi ng karamihan. Now, may pong ways upang isolve ito. I just have one of them. So let's say ito po yung hindi po siya kita kasi napakaliit niya. So ang layo niya mula dito ay 100 meters. But on top of the tree, 18 degrees po yung kanyang angle of elevation. So kung inyo po mapapansin, no, of course, it's understood to be a right, it's presumed to be a right angle here. With respect to your theta, okay, hello po, Ma'am Michelle. With respect to your theta, H is the opposite. 100 meters here is the adjacent. And anong function po? Anong trigonometric ratio po yon? Yung naglilink sa opposite at saka sa adjacent. Okay, tangent, sabi ni Ma'am Nurse at saka ni Sir Richard. Pwede rin po tangent, but of course, I prefer the tangent. That's why tangent 18 degrees equals opposite over hypotenuse. Since height, ito po yung equation natin. And since height po yung hinahanap, let's multiply both sides by 100. That's why 100 times tangent 18 degrees is the height of your tree. Using your calculators, it's approximately 32.49 degrees, letter C. Magaling. 99. In a 30, 60, 90 triangle, the side opposite the right angle is 14 meters. What is the perimeter in meters of this triangle? Did you go for A, B, C, or D? Take note, 30, 60, 90 triangle is an example of a special right triangle. Okay, B daw. Tignan natin. Take note, yung side opposite ng ating right angle ay 14 meters. It is actually a theorem that states that the side opposite of the 30-degree angle is 1/2 of your hypotenuse. That's why 14 divided by 2 will give you 7 meters here. And in the same triangle, the side opposite of 60-degree angle is square root of 3 times the side opposite the 30-degree angle. So 7 times square root of 3 is 7 square root of 3 here, which is the length of the side opposite of 60 degrees. We're looking for the perimeter, so we have to determine the sum of all the measures of the three sides. So that's 7 plus 14 plus 7 square root of 3, or 21 plus 7 square root of 3 meters. Letter B. Claro? I'm hoping po. 100. The triangle has sides 4, 6, and 8 units. What is its area in square units? 12. 3 square root of 15. 4 square root of 2. 18. Okay, what do you think? All right, let's see if you're correct. So since we are given the three sides, no, and I think this is, I believe you would agree with me, this is not a right triangle. So it's better to use what we call Heron's formula. And the Heron's formula, first, we need to get the semi-perimeter of your triangle. When we say semi-perimeter, it is the perimeter divided by 2. That's why 4 plus 6 plus 8 divided by 2 gives us 9. And the formula is also telling us that A is equal to the square root of the quantity, 9, the semi-perimeter, times, then this time, the semi-perimeter is subtracted by the three measures of the sides of your triangle. So 9 minus 4, 9 minus 6, and 9 minus 8. Then multiply them all and get the square root. Simplifying gives the square root of 9 times 5 times 3 times 1, or square root of 135. 135 is not a perfect square, but 9 is certainly a perfect square, the largest perfect square factor. The square root of 9 is 3, and the 15 should stay inside. Letter B. Okay, thank you po. So you can search more, no, on Heron's formula. 101. Which of the following is the domain of y equals sin x? Did you go for A, negative 1, 1? B, negative, the A is not open interval, negative 1, 1. B, close interval, negative 1, comma 1. C, the set of real numbers. Or D, none of the above. Okay, tama nga kaya ito? C, okay. May nagsasabi ring B na negative 1, comma 1. Take note ha, domain po yung hinahanap, hindi po range. When we say domain, in this case, it's a set of all permissible values of x. Okay, sabi ni Sir ni Ma'am Fel, B daw is the range. And if you answered letter C, you are actually correct. Take note that y equals sine x is always defined. Y is always defined regardless of the value of your x. Okay? That's why, if you could see from here, the domain of y equals sine x is a set of all real numbers. Yung letter B po, I do agree with Ma'am Fel, no? It's actually the range. Letter C. 102. What is the period of y equals 2 sine of the quantity 3x plus 6 plus 1? Did you get A, 2, B, 2 pi over 3, C, negative 2, D, 12.591? Okay, many are convinced with letter B. Tama nga ba? Take note po. Let's talk about the transformation of trigonometric graphs. If you have the equation y equals a sine of the quantity b times x minus c, everything added by d, its period is actually 2 pi divided by the value of b here. Okay? That's why, if you have this equation, you could see, no, yung part na to ay hindi pa na factor. So the GCF here is 3. I factored out 3 or kung ano man yung numerical coefficient ng x mo, yan yung i-factor mo. So y is equal to 2 sine of 3 times the quantity x plus 2 plus 1. And yung 3 na to po, ito po yung ating b. So therefore, its period is 2 pi over, since your b is 3, so 2 pi over 3. Letter B. Good? Magaling, Lucrecia. 103. Which of the following expressions is not a real number? Sine 0, cosine 0, tangent 0, cotangent 0. Okay, sige nga. Ano yung value ng sine theta? Sine theta has a value of, sine 0, I mean, degrees. Ilan po? Sine 0 is 0. Tama. How about yung cosine 0? 1. Exactly. How about tangent 0? Tangent 0 is 0 because tangent is sine over cosine. So 0 over 1 will be 0. And cotangent 0 degrees is actually undefined. Kasi cotangent 0 is cosine over sine. So magiging 1 over 0, undefined po yan. Letter D. Okay. 104. Consider triangle ABC with AB equals AC. If angle BAC equals 30 degrees and its area is 400 square units, how long is AB? Okay, what do you think? Letter C. You would say letter C, 40. So far, 3 people commented that answer. I'm not sure no if this is correct. What do you think? May sumagot naman po ng B. Okay? Tama nga kaya. Take note, ito po yung itsura niya. No? So x, 30 degrees, x here. These are the two equal sides. And take note, we have here a side angle side or SAS. No? And in getting the area of a triangle in the SAS or side angle side format, we could actually use the formula 1/2 AB sine C, where A and B here are the two consecutive sides, and C here is the included angle. So here, A and B are both equal to X. 30 degrees is your C. And we know that the area is 400. So ito po yung ating equation. 400 equals 1/2 times X times sine 30 degrees. What I did next is that I knew that x times s is x squared. Sine 30 is 1/2, and 1/2 times 1/2 will be 1/4. And multiplying both, di ba 1/4 ito? I multiply both sides directly by 4. So 4 times 400 will be 1,600 equals x squared. And with such, getting the positive square root of both sides only, supposedly x should be plus minus 40. But let us use the positive value because the length of a side here should be positive. So letter C is the correct answer. Okay. Great. Take note, if you have questions or clarifications, please feel free to chat them po or write them in the chat. Thank you. 105. How many three-digit numbers are there with different digits using the digits 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9? Stat na tayo and probability. Stat 120, 90, 10, 60. Okay, 60. And tama nga kaya. Take note, it says here different digits. So of course, it's known that repetition is not allowed. Meaning kapag nagamit mo na for example, if nagamit mo na siya sa hundreds, huwag mo nang gamitin sa tens digit. Parang buhay natin. Kapag ginamit mo na, huwag mo nang ulitin pa. Char lang, biro lang po. Now, okay? Or else baka ma-overuse. Kidding aside. So, note. Sir Chad, grabe ka naman. Okay, with that, meron po tayong ganito. Kasi halimbawa, no, ginamit any of them, 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. There are 5 of them, and any of these 5 can be used for the ones place. Kapag ginamit mo lang isa dyan, say, 4 na lang yung matitira. Halimbawa, dito, ginamit mo 1. So, you could only use 4 remaining digits. And sa 4 na to, halimbawa, 3, 5, 7, 9, no, yung natira, ginamit mo si 3 dito. So, 5, 7, 9 na lang yung natitira para sa hundreds place. That's why 3 times 4 times 5 will give you 60. Letter D. Bakit natin minultiply? By the fundamental counting principle. Thank you po. Okay, 106. There are 2 copies of each of the 4 different books. There are 2 copies of each of the 4 different books. In how many ways can they be arranged on a shelf? Did you go for 128, 1680, 2520, or 1380? Okay? Take note po ha, 4 silang iba-ibang libro, pero tigdadalawang kopya sila. And this involves what we call indistinct permutation, no? Or permutation with with some of the repeated elements. So ang tanong, ilang books po meron lahat dito? Ilang books po meron lahat dito sa problem na to? There are 8, exactly. Kasi 4 times 2 ay 8. So that's why your numerator will be 8 factorial. Kasi merong 8 objects lahat eh. Pero bakit 2 factorial, 2 factorial, 2 factorial, 2 factorial? Bakit nag-divide tayo ng 4 na 2 factorial? Because di ba, tigdadalawa sila? And those arrangements of the 2 identical books, no, do not matter. That's why we divided it by 2 factorial 4 times. Or as suggested also by Sir Chad, 2 factorial to the 4th. When using your calculators, it simplifies to 2,520. Letter C. You could verify this po with your calculators. So, sumagot ka ba kayo ng C? May sumagot ng B, may sumagot ng C. It's okay, no? C po. 107. In how many ways can 10 trees be planted in a circular lot? Did you go for A, B, C, or D? Tingnan nyo po. Okay, convinced with letter B. Ano nga po ba yung formula natin for circular permutation? With a distinct number of objects with n elements, distinct elements. That would be n minus 1 factorial. Thank you po. And so since there are 10 trees, no? So your n here will be 10. So 10 minus 1 will be 9. 9 factorial will be It means 9 times 8 times 7 times 6 times 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1, or simply the product of all whole numbers from 9 until 1, between 9 and 1. From 9 to 1, I mean. So that's 362,880, letter B. Thank you po. So careful po ha, may parenthesis po. You subtract first by 1 before taking the factorial of that quantity. 108. Find the number of distinguishable permutations in the letters of the word referee. 5,040, 15, 420, or 105. So, this one, no, it's also the same, similar kanina yung concept. It's a permutation with indistinct elements or repeated elements. Kasi like you do, meron kang more than one R and you have four E's, no? Di ba? Okay? And with that, alam natin na this word has 7 letters or objects. So that's 7 factorial sa numerator po natin. And divide po natin, you notice yung R you have 2 R's, so divide by 2 factorial. Meron ka ring 4 na E's, and the arrangement of these 4 E's will not matter, no? So 4 factorial. I mean, if you interchange the E's among themselves, it will not matter. That's why divide by 4 factorial. Your calculators can do the trick, and that gives you 105, letter D. Okay. 109. Given a standard deck of 52 cards without the jokers, how many 5-card hands will have 3 aces and 2 kings? Tatlong alas at saka 2 king. Ito ay example ng tinatawag nating full house, di po ba? I hope na familiar po kayo sa term na full house. I'm not encouraging gambling, but when we say full house, it's a hand, no? 5 cards po yan, 3 of a kind and 2 of a kind. Okay. Tama. Full house. So is this a permutation problem? Or is this a combination problem? Quadro mas mataas, grabe siya. Hindi kami nagtutong it's. Yes, no worries po. Okay. This involves permutation or combination? Does the order matter here? And the answer is order does not matter here. This is in fact a combination problem. Meron tayong ilang kings sa isang baraha, standard na baraha. Ilang king meron? Okay, yes po. Thank you po, Ma'am Nurse. Tama po. Sa isang baraha, ilang king meron? 4. How about yung alas or ace? Meron po bang ilang aces? 4 din. Tama. That's why, out of the 4 aces, you will choose 3 aces. Wait. Yes, out of the 4 aces, you will choose 3 of them. That's why 4 combination 3. And out of the 4 kings, no? 4 po yung king. By the way, 4 yung aces, 4 yung kings. Meron tayong hearts, diamonds, spades, and clubs. Yung sinasabi nilang malunggay, yan po yung clubs. Okay? That's why sa 4 na aces, pipili ka ng 3, 4C3. Sa 4 na king, pipili ka ng 2 or kukuha ka ng 2. So 4C2. Using your calculators, 4C3 is actually 4. 4 combination 2 is 6. And 4 times 6 is 24. Therefore, there are 24 possibilities or ways for you to have a hand of 5 cards composed of three aces and two kings. So letter B ang tamang sagot. Good job. 110. In how many ways can a poster be colored if you can use at least one of the five different colors available? Is it 32, 30, 31, or 29? Take note ha, use at least one of the five different colors. Pwedeng isang kulay lang lahat. Pwedeng dalawa yung gamitin mo. Pwedeng tatlo, pwedeng apat, pwedeng lima. So letter C, 31 daw. And take note po ha, this entails combination. Take note, meron po tayong theorem that MC1 plus MC2 plus MC3 all the way until plus MCN, it's actually equal to 2 raised to n minus 1. And remember, meron po tayong limang kulay. So yung hinahanap po natin, pwedeng 5C1 means isang kulay lang yung gamitin mo. 5C2, dalawang kulay. 5C3, tatlong kulay. 5C4, apat na kulay. 5C5, makulay na buhay. 5C5 meaning you will utilize all the colors. Okay? And actually, by using the formula above, this is equal to 2 raised, your n is 5. 2 raised to 5 minus 1. And this is 32 minus 1 or simply 31. Letter C. Or kung gusto nyo, 5C1, 5 ito. 5C2, it's, anong ba yung 5C2? 5 times 10. 5C3 is equal to 10. 5C4 is equal to 5. 5C5 is equal to 1. I'm sure it's still 31 po. Letter C. I hope na nakuha po natin. Theorem po ito. 32. Find the sum of all the coefficients of the expansion of 3x minus y quantity to the sixth. Did you go for 4,096, 64, 729, or 32? Okay. We have 64. Ano kaya ginawa ninyo? Siguro, baka ginamit nyo yung Pascal's triangle at saka you expanded this. But actually, it's not necessary. If you are just after of the coefficients alone, no, the numerical coefficients, just disregard the x and y. Diba yung numerical coefficient dito 3? Yung numerical coefficient dito 1. Disregard na lang po yung x at saka y. Ito ay magiging 3 minus 1 to the 6th, which is 2 to the 6th power or 64. Letter B. Okay, yes po, I agree, no, Ma'am Vasquez at saka kay Sir Chat. Yan po yung shortcut natin. 112. A pair of dice is tossed. Find the probability of getting a total of 8. 1/6, 5/36, 1/9, or 2/9. Letter B daw. Sabi ng, okay, there are 7 of you who answered B. Okay, tama nga ba ang B? Of course, dahil sabi niya, getting a total of 8, we know no that a standard die has 6 sides. So 6 times 6, by the fundamental counting principle, the first die 6, the second die 6. So 6 times 6 will be 36 possible outcomes all in all. Of that 36, alam po natin, lista po natin yung sum of 8. Pwedeng 2/6. Ano pa? Pwedeng 3/5. 4/4. 5/3. And 6/2. And I believe that the children are our future. We have to teach them well. and let them lead the way. I believe na wala na po ako nakaligtaan. Hindi po pwedeng 1-7 or 7-1 kasi 6 lang po yung pinakamataas na number, no? That's why the probability, there are 5 outcomes out of 36, so the probability is 5/36. Letter B. Tama. Next. I hope na clear. 130. Find the probability of an event if the odds that it will occur are 3-2. Did you go for 2/3, 3/5, 2/5, or 3/4? All right. Letter B daw, 3-5. Tama nga ba? Sabi ni Sir Chad, 3 halves is equal to x times 1 minus x. Ay, iba. Okay. Actually, if the odds to occur is 3-2, take note, to occur ha, 3 is the success, si 2 is the failure. Meaning, success is 3 parts at dalawang parte would represent failure. And since 3:2, so 3 plus 2, it tells us na merong 5 parts all in all, lahat-lahat. And for the probability that it will happen, success is 3. It's 3 out of the whole, so you get the probability, which is 3/5. Letter B. All right. 140. In a college class of 40 students, 27 like calculus and 25 like chemistry. Find the number of students who like both subjects. Is it A, 12, B, 15, C, 13, or D, 8? What do you think? Okay, many of you answered letter A. Let's see if you got it. Now, from here, meron po tayong formula no, na the number of people who have A or B is equal to the number of people A, event A, number of people in event plus cardinality of B minus the cardinality of A and B, or refers to union, and here refers to the intersection or the commonality. Given po na lahat-lahat 40 lang sila. So, this cardinality of A or B is 40. For A is 27 and B is 25. So, 40 equals 27 plus 25 minus the cardinality of A and B or both, no, or their intersection. So, from here, ano pong nangyari? This negative here will, when placed on the left-hand side, will become positive. And this positive 40 becomes minus 40. So 27 plus 25 is 52. This 40 on the left became minus 40 on the right. 52 minus 40 is 12. So the cardinality of A and or both, no? A and B or both A and B, 12 of them. Letter A. Good job. 115. What is the mean of a binomial experiment that occurs with a probability of success of 0.76 and is repeated 150 times? Did you go for 108, 100.5, 114, or 115? What do you think? Let's see. Letter C. Actually, to get the mean, all you have to do is just multiply them. So 0.76 times 150 is 114. And I agree with you. Letter C. Good job. Okay, so I hope you got it, no? You just multiply them. Next one. An outlier is an observation that, okay, which sa palagay nyo po, is it letter A, letter B, letter C, or letter D? Outlier in statistics. Kapag sinabi nating outlier, siguro siya yung taong sinungaling tapos pinapalabas mo. Out, you liar, joke. But it's not po ha. In statistics, an outlier is letter dan 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 letter D. It is significantly different from the other observations in the data set. Letter D. Also, when we speak about outliers, no, so these are extreme scores. It could either be extremely low or extremely high scores that are different from the typical scores po natin or from the usual in that data set. Okay, I hope you got it right. 170. How many statistical errors are there in all? Is it one, two, three, or four? Especially, these errors are usually, especially when you are making decisions, ilang errors kaya ang pwede mong magawa? Okay, I could see letter B yung sagot ninyo. Dalawa lang ba? If you answered two, you should be happy because meron tayong dalawa. These are what we call type 1 or alpha error and type 2 or beta error. Letter B. Usually, you commit a type 1 error if the null hypothesis is true. If the null hypothesis is true, pero nireject mo. Imagine, alam mong tama, bakit nireject mo? That's a type 1 error. Yung isang type ng error naman is, if when your null hypothesis is false, but you did not reject it, alam mong mali, bakit di mo nireject? That's a type 2 error. So type 1 error is also called false positive, and type 2 error is also called false negative error. Type 1 error is also alpha error. Type 2 error is also your beta error. So dalawa lang po. Letter B. Yung alam mong tama na nireject mo o alam mong mali pero hindi mo nireject. Yun yung dalawang error natin. Sakit. Char lang. 118. Which of the following statements is true? Okay, 1. If type 1 error increases, then type 2 error increases. 2. If type 1 error decreases, then type 2 error decreases. 3. If type 1 error increases, then type 2 error decreases. 4. If type 1 error decreases, then type 2 error increases. Did you go for 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 1 and 3, or 2 and 4? Okay, what do you think? What do you think po? Okay, so maraming nagsasabi na letter B, 3 and 4. And if you answer that, you are actually correct. Why? Because type 1 and type 2 error are actually inversely or indirectly or negatively related with one another. Meaning to say, if one increases, the other decreases, or vice versa. Therefore, if type 1 increases, yung type 2 bumababa. Or if yung type 1 nagdi-decrease, dapat yung type 2 tumataas. That's why 3 and 4, letter B is the correct answer. Okay. I hope you got it. 119. Consider a normal distribution with a mean of 7. What percent of the data set is higher than 7? Is it 25, 30, 45, or 50? Okay, so many of you answered letter D, 50%. And if you answered 50%, I could say that you should be proud because you got it right. Tandaan po natin, if you have a normal distribution, the mean, the median, and the mode are all equal and are all located at the center of your distribution. Also, approximately 50% is below the mean, and approximately 50% is also above of your mean. That's why letter D, 50% is higher than your mean of 7. D. 120. Z-scores are computed when? Is it A, the data is skewed to the left? B, majority of the data is low? C, the data set is approximately normal? Or D, when the mean and median are no? The correct answer is very good. You should know that you can use z-scores or compute that when your data is approximately normal. If your distribution is skewed, meaning to say it's unbalanced, or if it does not approximate a normal distribution, then usually z-scores are not computed. Z-scores are standard scores, by the way. I hope you understood something important for tonight. With that, thank you very much and a great day to one and all.